few years back, I made the commitment to transform 80 acres into a whitetail paradise. With Pat's help, we've accomplished a tremendous amount of work in just 2 years. As I get more efficient at things like cutting, spraying, and planting, the basics, it leaves some extra time for maintenance and fine-tuning. This year during the off-season, I was making it a point to not only catch up on some maintenance, but to learn from Pat on how to expand on what we've already built. We're doing something a little different today. Got ourselves I call it a toy of an excavator, a 12-inch pipe, and the goal today is maintenance on our trail, right? We have a horrible amount of snow this last winter, so to exaggerate the fact that we had so much water coming through here. If you guys have seen the past years, like this is a section of area where we get that whole epic slow-mo montage of mud flaring through the Ranger, and like that's fun and all, but it really takes a toll on a road and it ends up going like this and just drenching it up. So it's dry. We haven't had rain in a while. This whole thing is always dry in the summer anyway, so it's a really good time to put a pipe in. I'm not gonna do anything fancy, but yeah, let's get to it. All right, so next steps is we're gonna grab some rocks and kind of put it on the culvert. As you can see, this is an area we cleared earlier this year. And look at all the rocks, they're everywhere. So these need to come out anyway. Just so happens that we need some rocks to the edge of the culvert over there. We're gonna put some on the edge, form it up a little bit, and then we should be done with that project. I mean, obviously it'll settle in the next year or two, and maybe add more dirt in the later year, but for now that should be perfect. So get some rocks, dump them in the back of the Ranger, dump them at the culvert. All right, this isn't glamorous work. It's not going to help you grow big antlers and put food on your land and that kind of thing for deer hunting. But again, come spring, I'm going to be very glad that water's going under my road instead of over my road. It's these little things, guys, they're in kind of that July and August time where you can get them out of the way. You can come in with minimal interruptions, not mess too much with your deer that are in the back of the area, and just get maintenance done. And again, it's not glamorous, but it needs to be done. So. All right, so we're at like the mecca of like deer properties, southwestern Minnesota at Pat Nicole's place. Pat's got the idea of some little things that we can do that I can do on my property that they've done on his, that from a visual perspective, I can just see and see exactly how he laid it out. So I'm ready to learn a lot. There's a lot of things that he's just mastered over the years doing it, and especially on this property specifically. I'm gonna be taking notes and hopefully bringing back some stuff on the 80 to implement. I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun couple days. What was the show called? Like, not Pimp My Ride, but MTV Cribs or whatnot? It's easy to look at places like this, be like, wow, that's sweet. Well, in my opinion, I have never encountered anyone who works harder than that man does. And him and his wife have been doing this for a long time, and not many people have been doing it longer, so.
Yeah, let me show you what we got going. This is pretty cool. There's a couple reasons you want to screen in your plots. What this is giant miscanthus grass.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally like, yeah, you start standing next to it. It's like corn don't even get this tall.
This is only on its second year of growth.
And it's like a fence.
So it's going to even get taller and thicker as it goes. If you got a blind on the backside, you can walk all the way up while deer are in the plot, get in your blind without them ever seeing you. It's just stealthy. Again, this is a great way to just privatize your plot. It'll work good on your 80. You should try this really down the road, because I really feel like it gives them deer the security, especially them big bucks are looking for. And this way I'll show you the water hole and the apples. You would probably have a bass in your, if this was on your property, you would probably have
little bubbler to keep them alive. Not opposed. Wow, look at, you can see all the different tracks and coming down. Wow.
That is years of going into this water hole. I manufactured this water hole. This isn't something that just,
of course,
was here.
I feel like you've kind of like not coined it, but like, man, you've like perfected that process.
Yeah, and this has a liner in it. Basically I use just a heavy milled tarp.
Yep.
And this has held water for, I bet you this water hole is close to 20 years old already.
Wow. This is one of the first ones you did then?
The dig out, yeah, this is one of my very original ones. And we've shot a number of different bucks over the years off of this water hole. My opinion is if they're gonna eat on the food source here, come in here to eat, that eventually they're gonna probably be here in the water hole as well, so I'll catch a picture of them. And I do have a camera right there on that tree facing the food plot as well, so I've got two cameras kind of covering this entire area.
So I got a question. My first food plot, the one you helped me pretty much redesign, reamp, we put a fence around it last year, we planted it this year. I have the muddy kind of in that perfect spot. It's a very similar size and aspect to this. I have a small watering hole you and I put in.
Yep.
in that respect, I don't think they're drinking it dry. It's never happened unless we don't get the rainfall or something.
Right.
But is that something you think I could upgrade in years to come?
Oh yeah, they're called a mega pond. That's a mega earth pond.
Yep.
And if you want to hold more water, that is just going to basically not evaporate as easy. It's, you know, if it has a lot more pressure, you know, deer pressure on it, that you're not going to drink it dry, or just dry conditions, it's going to keep water longer.
That's the thing in my place, is the dry.
250 gallons versus 80.
That's a lot more.
But this one's obviously way more than 250 gallons. I mean, this probably has a couple thousand gallons in it right now. This is just a natural pond, you know, with a liner.
You guys ever come in here and just do like a little bathtub, hot tub, sauna, ice bath kind of a thing? Not often?
A lot of people think about apple planting fruit trees and stuff in their plots, but they might not have success. And I've learned a couple of things about it. So obviously, where you plant these things, you got to have halfway decent soil. You know, you plant them on rock, probably won't grow a good fruit tree. But you can see we caged them all. So right when these things were, you know, a couple feet tall when we planted them, and we put wire around it that went fairly high, so we don't get browse pressure. And if you notice it along right at the base, we came in with a plastic drain tile.
Yep.
So we put that there for a good reason, and that's to keep the mice from girdling your tree. Even rabbits will do it as well, but that keeps that trunk of that tree protected.
How long of an investment is this? Like how many years until this is like dialed and paid off, you think?
This tree right here is probably 8 years old now, at least, if not a little, maybe 10.
So it's a long-term thing.
It's producing, you know, it's producing apples right now. So I make out there is where the food source is with the, you know, soybeans and the brassicas. You got to think of this thing. I always try to create everything in a food plot I can. You know, fruit
you got a little
trees,
bit of everything here. It's like a grocery store.
Soybeans, green, brassicas. You know, there's 4 things that are drawing deer in here, plus a mock scrape. You know, so, you know, there's a lot of different reasons why deer are going to come back and come into this plot. And anybody can do this.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to do these things incrementally, like you just said, and just tweaking it little bit by little bit can make huge differences down the road.
I think one of the biggest takeaways I have when talking about projects like this with Pat is that it's a process. Often it seems that if you don't plan it out ahead of time, it just gets rushed and often not well executed. When it comes to my property, I've learned that if I come up with an agenda during the off season that's manageable and I know I can get done, I enjoy the process. And then I know I'm building something for years to come.